guys. It's been quite some time since I've made a video. I've been away for quite a bit. Have had a lot of challenges in my personal life, family life, relationships, friendships, so on and so forth. I've been away from social media in general for quite some time. Not only business wise, but personal wise. I just needed to take a break from everything. Obviously, I've still been trading. Trading is my main source of income, but I've definitely taken a break from all socials for a while just due to a lot of mayhem that has happened in my personal life. So things are things are definitely starting to get a little bit more back on track, and things are definitely starting to go in the right direction again in terms of my personal life. Obviously, still have my challenges, and I'm sure we all do. But I felt as though a much needed break was definitely necessary. So that is the reason why there has not been an upload in over 6 months. Definitely been away for a bit, and definitely needed that much needed space to myself in order to do that. So I wanted to make this video not only to get things going again, but I want to give you guys a quick summary or a quick breakdown of what I think is happening in the market as of right now, as well as what believe is going to happen going into this next upcoming week. Now, what I will say is the year of 2024, at least for me personally, and if you watch my videos thus far, you should know that I only trade SPY. SPY is the only thing that I really look at or care about because that's the only thing I'm trading. Um, Either on a daily basis, that's really what I'm doing. So that's really what I pay attention to. Now, I would say the year of 2024 was like honestly, it was a really easy trading year for me. There was a lot of good setups. I didn't take very many losses. There was a lot of good trades that were taken in 2024. I would say that as a whole, the year was pretty easy and it was pretty easy to trade. However, what I will say is in November, as of November, when Trump officially got elected, I definitely started to notice that the market definitely became a lot more unpredictable. It definitely became a lot more uneasy, and it definitely became a lot more volatile in terms of you didn't really know what was going to happen day by day. Mainly because Trump is the kind of person to drop bombs in terms of news out of nowhere. And he does that quite regularly and quite frequently. If you pay attention to the news and you pay attention to Trump, you'll know that he's a very unorthodox individual. So he'll say things out of nowhere quite regularly, and those things that he does say very much so impact the market quite vastly. Joe Biden wasn't like that. Joe Biden was very much by the book. He was he said what he was supposed to say, and that's it. Trump says whatever the fuck he wants. So it's a little bit of a different situation. I mean, Trump is definitely a huge factor here. And since then, I will say that the market has been way more unpredictable and it has been a lot more challenging to trade because of this. Now, obviously, this is just the beginning. He's just getting into office. So I definitely think things will level out here sooner than later. But as of now, things have definitely been more on the challenging side to analyze and predict. So I actually have not taken many trades so far this year. I have, for the most part, I've taken a few, of course, but I have been sitting and watching, and I've been waiting for the right opportunities and the right setups. Now, what you're looking at here on the screen is ES. I love looking at ES because ES is something that I can monitor daily, and it's open 24 hours. Obviously, other than on Sundays and Saturdays. On Sundays it does open up, but on Saturdays it's closed. But it's something that I can monitor quite frequently when SPY is closed. So what you see on the left is the daily, and then what you see on the right is the 6 hour. So I think it's pretty safe to say that right now, from the way the market is currently looking, we are pretty sideways, and we are seeing a lot of resistance. And of course, we are very close to all-time high territory. Now, over this past week, as you can see, we had a nice little trend going. We had a higher low, but then we had a lower high with a higher high and a bullish engulfing, which suggested a trend change confirmation to the upside and definitely suggested a move higher, which in fact we got. And I actually took this whole play right here. And this wasn't an easy trade. It was definitely quite difficult because as you can see, we basically had three doji candles that finally decided to go up side by side. But I mean, this was the market's attempt to recorrect the trend to the upside. And there's been so many trend change confirmations, like the market's in an uptrend and a downtrend and an uptrend. And on the daily, you can very clearly see that. Now, the 6 hour time frame is my go-to time frame in order to make decisions and when to enter and when to exit. And as you can see right now, it's definitely in a downtrend. Like we got a higher low, but then we got a fat lower low with follow through. And likewise, same thing on daily. So technically, if you look at it from this perspective, we're in a downtrend if you're looking at it on the daily. But because the market has been so sideways in terms of being uptrend and downtrend and uptrend and downtrend, I have been a lot of the times I have been looking at the weekly for a little bit more clarity and more guidance. But even on the weekly, it's very hard to see that we're very much sideways even on the weekly. So on the weekly time frame, I mean, we did have a higher low here, sorry, a higher high here, and then a lower high. And then we had this fat red candle that closed off this past week. So to be very honest with you, right now, I'm not really looking to make any decisions. I think right now, with the way the market is currently sitting, and if we look at the monthly time frame is pretty evident here. This candle closes in 5 days, right? I mean, this candle could very easily close red. If it closes red, my bias going into March is definitely going to be quite altered. I mean, if you look at the way the monthly closed in January, we had a beautiful lower high. We didn't have a higher high, and we didn't have a bullish engulfing, but we did have some strength in the month of January. And for that reason, one could have easily assumed that we would see all-time highs in in February. Now, we haven't gotten that. We have not gotten that. Rather, what we've gotten is basically sideways price action for the entire month of February. And looking at the time frame again on the daily, one could very easily assume that based on what we're seeing here, that we're going to definitely follow through with this downtrend. I would call this a temporary downtrend because so far things have changed very quickly. And I would say that it's very safe to say that we're definitely going to be hitting at least this level sometime either Monday or Tuesday, depending on how the market reacts. I know there's some economic reports getting released on Monday. One of those are going to be actually, no, we have no economic reports on Monday. Tuesday, we have CB consumer confidence at 7 a.m. Pacific. We have the Richmond Manufacturing Index, so kind of minor events. Wednesday, not much. Thursday, we have prelim GDP, and then Friday we have GDP month to month for Canada, and we have core PCE price index month to month on Friday. So in terms of economic events, I mean, next week is pretty straightforward. It's a pretty chill week in terms of economic events, but as we've seen, Trump is a very unorthodox individual, and he definitely plays a huge role with how the market is behaving. And this whole tariff situation is definitely causing people to be very fearful, and it definitely shows. People are very cautious right now because they're not entirely sure how that's going to affect the economy, especially for Canada. And I live in Canada, so I hear it all the time. People are very skeptical and cautious about what's going to happen and how it's going to affect our economy and how it's going to affect our quality of life here. So people are very cautious with that. So there's a lot of uncertainty, if you will, in the market at the moment. And one could easily assume, as mentioned, that to start off the day Monday, we could very easily follow through with this sell-off and hit 59.88, which I personally think is going to happen. So if I do take a trade, I'll be looking to get into puts Monday morning. However, I will only do so provided I see a setup. So if we go over here and we look at SPY, so SPY, currently the way that it finished off the day on Friday, this is the 1 hour time frame on the left. This is one on the right hand side is a 15-minute time frame. Now, typically when I'm trading SPY, which is what I always do, I look at ES for basically an overall idea of where the market is currently headed, which who's in control, buyers or sellers, and then I'll use the time frames like the 1 hour on SPY to give myself a setup or an entry. So for example, let's say on Monday the market opens up like this. We open up at 6:30 a.m. At 7:30 a.m., the market, the candle closes green, and then at 7:30 a.m., we have a red candle, and that closes red like such, and we get basically a higher low. I would definitely get into puts at 8:30 a.m., an expectation that the market is going to continue to sell off. Now, provided that the market didn't close on Friday, at 12:30 like this, I definitely would have gone into puts with a setup like that. Definitely would have taken puts on a setup like this. However, the market closed, so there's nothing you could do. But what I'm saying is, I would be looking for a setup very similar to this on Monday when the market does open on the 1 hour time frame. Obviously, I like to trade bigger time frames. The smaller the time frames, the more competition and the less probable you're going to be in terms of success rate. So I always recommend people that you stick to a higher time frame. Higher time frames are way less competitive, and there's a much higher probability of success when you're sticking to a larger time frame. When you stick to a lower time frame, I see people trading 5 minute time frame, 10 minute time frame, 2 minute time frame. I don't see any longevity in that. I don't see any success in that, and that's something that I'll never even touch or go or look at. I mean, if I'm ever looking at a small time frame like that, it's during like an FOMC meeting or something like that, because the volatility is so crazy that I like to see what's happening on like a smaller time frame because I'm very interested. But it's not something I'm going to trade. It's just something that I'm going to look at and watch. In terms of trading, I'm always going to be sticking to these bigger time frames. Like when I'm trading SPY, yes, I look at the 50-minute time frame just so I have an idea of like who's in control within that hour. But my decisions are made on the 1 hour time frame, and likewise, I look at the 4 hour time frame and the daily time frame on SPY as well, so I can assess who's in control that day. So if we go over here and we look at SPY as well on the 4 hour time frame and daily time frame, as you can see here, this is the extended hour chart for SPY. Huge downtrend, as you can see daily on SPY, also big downtrend, huge sell-off. So one could easily assume by the price action that we currently see that it is definitely a downtrend and the sellers are definitely in control. And for that reason, this is definitely, in my opinion, a bullish setup. So if you were to take something Monday morning or Monday in general, I personally would be looking for puts. Now, lately, I haven't been holding anything for too long, simply because things can change very quickly, and we've been seeing that and we've been shown that very recently with the market. So what I think I'm going to do is this upcoming Monday, tomorrow, today's Sunday the 23rd, market opens up tomorrow, 24th. If I do take any trades, I'm actually going to take note of that, record it, and I'm going to make a video about it and explain why I took it and what I saw and the reason why I took it, and kind of go over, an explanation of my decision making, the setup that I saw, how I entered, why I entered, which I like, what strike price I chose, what expiration date I chose, how many contracts I chose to purchase, and so on and so forth. But as of right now, I think what you should be doing if you are looking to trade SPY is definitely be cautious. Okay. Personally, I would advise you to be looking for puts Monday morning. If you do decide to take any plays, I would not be taking calls, only because the sellers definitely, as of right now, are in control of this short-term market. When I say short-term market, I'm speaking to like the 6 hour time frame, the daily time frame. If you look at the monthly time frame, of course, the buyers are in control of that market. However, that is a monthly time frame. So if you're looking to buy shares and you want to hold it for a long time, by all means, be my guest. Not a bad play. But honestly, at the moment, even doing so is not really the best option, because we are near all-time high territory. Things are expensive. If I'm doing anything long term, I want to make sure it's cheap. I want to make sure it's inexpensive, and then I'll buy it. Like, for example, earlier this past year, 2024, I bought Tesla, I think in March, and I think the price of it was somewhere around a buck 40, buck 46, buck 50, somewhere around there. That's how much it costed. I decided to buy it then. That to me, that was inexpensive. That was cheap. That was a good entry point. You know, Tesla at that price is great. And this past November, it actually shot all the way up to 450. I didn't sell it at 450. I actually sold all my shares at around 400. So I was very happy with that. Oh, sorry, no, it didn't hit 450. It hit, what did Tesla hit? Here's Tesla right here. I sold it in November. Yeah, it almost hit 500, guys. It almost hit 500. Yeah, I didn't hold it till 500. I sold it around 400. But I mean, likewise, I mean, that's a great example of buying things cheap and selling them obviously when they're expensive. I don't really think there's not, in my opinion, SPY is not really in a good position to do any kind of long-term position right now. It's at near all-time high territory. So I would definitely wait and sit patiently if that's what you want to do. But if you are a shorter-term trader like myself and you like to trade options on SPY, short-term wise, sellers are definitely in control, and puts is definitely the way to go. However, it's not something that I would hold for a couple days. It's something that I would hold probably just for the day and then get out of that same day. So I'll make a video updating the situation on Monday. I'll probably make a video on Friday to recap that week and what I did that week, and if I did in fact take action on Monday, and if I did, what did I do? I'm not going to make a video every day. I'll probably make a video like once a week, but do expect that video to come out. If you see the market sell off on Monday, just know I was definitely in puts, and I definitely caught a setup on SPY on the shorter time frames, and I took advantage of that. So yeah, that's just a quick recap. I've been away for quite some time. Had some very personal family life issues that really got in the way of me being able to make any kind of videos. And time is very limited, to be honest with you. I need to make sure I'm spending my time wisely, and I just needed some time away from social media. I haven't even been on my personal socials for a long time. I've taken away a break from that as well. Not even business, personal as well. And I just felt like I needed to do that. I mean, there's so much bullshit that you see in the world nowadays, and so much distraction, and so much negativity, and just so much, oh man, just so much bad stuff. And I just wanted to get away from all of it for a bit. So anyways, guys, quick little summary. Not much of a summary, more of skepticism, to be honest. This is very cautious time to be. If I see any good setups, obviously I'll point them out. As of right now, I don't really see a good setup. There isn't necessarily a good setup, okay, for anything. All I'm saying is on Monday morning, if there is a setup, I will be taking it, but it hasn't formed yet, and it will be puts if it does. If a setup forms on the upside for calls, I will not be taking it, because as of right now, I do not see the buyers being in control of this short-term market. The sellers, to me, are clearly in control of the short-term market. And if there is a setup, it will have to be a setup for the downside, and I will be taking puts if that does happen. If not, I will be sitting out and I'll be watching. So I hope that video helped out, guys, and I will see you guys on the next one.